there are two Democrats currently running in the primary looking to unseat the incumbent Republican Derrick Van Orden. 1 year from now, it's election day in several states around the country, not here, but a year from today. On that first Tuesday in November, people will be going to vote to pick a new governor and perhaps pick a brand new member of Congress. Emily Berge is one of those two candidates running the Democratic primary next August. Emily is also the president of the Eau Claire City Council. Emily Berge, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Pat. I was just hearing your chatter about daylight savings. Another population you forgot to mention is children. They also have a hard time with the time change. As a mom, that was very difficult when they were young because they still got up at the same time.
Oh yeah, and then you throw Halloween candy into the mix,
Yes.
depending on what the sugar has done to them, one way or another. Exactly.
Yeah.
It is a week of adjustment. I was looking over at the Facebook page for your campaign. You can learn more at Berge. That's BERGE, BergeForCongress.com, or Berge for Congress on Facebook. And I found it rather interesting that one of your latest posts talks about having made more than 125 campaign stops in the district so far, which is a heck of a lot more than the incumbent member of Congress has held in terms of town halls or anything about leaving his basement.
Yeah, yes. Well, I've been my whole focus is on the district and prioritizing the voters. And so you got to show up for people. As elected official right now, I know that's important. I do that as council president, and running for Congress, it's also important because right now with me being everywhere, meeting all the people, that's how I want to serve the district. And I think what I'm doing now, because behavior is consistent, so I want to prove to people that I will always show up for you and be there and listen. And that's what and I love people. It's super fun to be down in Viroqua, down in Grant County, over in Point and Portage, Adams County, Black River. Like it's all, and River Falls. I mean, it's a huge district, but it's so much fun just meeting people, listening to people. I mean, we'll get into it, what I'm hearing on the ground too. But yeah, I'm hearing a lot, and I think that's important to show up.
Well, it is. It's incredibly important, and again, much more than what the incumbent Derrick Van Orden has been doing to this point. But even before the government shutdown, when we talked about you getting into this race originally, it was in part because Derrick Van Orden had been, downright hostile toward Eau Claire and the Chippewa Valley. Since that time, in the wake, for example, of the Charlie Kirk murder, he's made all this talk about cutting off federal funds to Eau Claire because of things that city council members had to say, which again, you already have a base of support in the Eau Claire area. But Van Orden's conduct between the Charlie Kirk murder and then the government shutdown, I have a sense, has not won him much for new voters in the 3rd District. What are you hearing?
Exactly. I mean, I've had people come up to me say, we voted for Derrick Van Orden in the past, but we cannot, this is not okay. He's not acting in a professional way. It feels like he doesn't care about Eau Claire, doesn't care about us. So I'm hearing that in Eau Claire especially, and because they say they're not going to vote for Derrick Van Orden, they'll vote for me, and mostly because they've seen me lead. And in these areas where he's come after Eau Claire, they have seen me stand up to him and defend the city. And that's what people want from a leader. They want someone to fight for them. And that's what I'm doing. Now, fighting doesn't mean yelling and blaming. Fighting just means standing firm in your values and standing up for people. But I'm hearing that throughout the district too, not just Eau Claire, that they voted for Eau Claire. A lot of veterans are voted for Derrick Van Orden, but they're done with him and they're supporting me.
Well, we're certainly seeing that from President Trump as well. People who thought they would give him another chance and did not think that he was going to go as extreme as he did. And there's really nothing much more extreme than shutting down the government as they have. And of course, we can talk about it on a couple of different fronts with Emily Berge, candidate for Congress in the 3rd District. There is the cutoff of SNAP, the arguably illegal cutoff of SNAP and its impact locally. And of course, the whole basis behind the shutdown, and that is Republicans wanting health insurance premiums to skyrocket under the Affordable Care Act. You can take whichever one you want in terms of what you're hearing the most from people about their reaction to the shutdown overall.
Oh, it's just so much. And I'm hearing so much. We could talk forever on this. So what I'm hearing more actually is healthcare. Well, and SNAP. I mean, it goes back and forth, but I think where people are feeling with SNAP benefits, I mean, I've heard from some people that are directly impacted. from those cuts. Guys, remember, this is two cuts. So this is cuts from the big, beautiful bill that Derrick Van Orden voted for, which he said he would not cut SNAP benefits. And then now with the shutdown, the November allocation of food benefits will not be coming forth. So I've talked to a few people that are directly impacted by that, but a lot of people are just concerned about our community and people that won't be having food and children will be going hungry. Also, healthcare, I'm hearing more from people that are directly impacted by healthcare. Right now, as I'm going around the district, again, as city council president talking to constituents, people are getting notices in the mail right now that their healthcare is going up 110%, more than 100%, and they don't know how they're going to afford it. And people are, it's like the sticker shock. And I think some people, maybe if you're super paying attention, you might know it was coming, but a lot of people didn't know this was coming. And people are really concerned, and it just adds to the already anxiety and fear, uncertainty that people have been feeling.
We're talking to Emily Berge, who's the president of the Eau Claire City Council and a candidate for Congress here, and learning more about the race and talking about the government shutdown and the impact as well. As we mentioned, there are two Democrats in the race, including Rebecca Cooke, who was the nominee last time around and is running again. I was surprised to see an endorsement come down from Senator Tammy Baldwin for Rebecca Cooke. She's had other people from outside the state come in and endorse her and campaign for her. So, we'd obviously have to say what your reaction was to the endorsement and to the people who have been endorsing your campaign so far.
Well, I'm very, very proud of all of my in district. All of my support has come from, and endorsements have come from people who live in the district who can vote in this election. That's been my priority. I'm the local candidate as a local government leader, and I'm really focusing on the local folks in the 3rd Congressional District. So yeah, I have endorsements from elected leaders throughout the district. The La Crosse County Board Chair. I have this Stevens Point Mayor has endorsed me. I have most of the city council here in Eau Claire. I have the county board members here in Eau Claire, Chippewa, Dunn. I have elected leaders and just community leaders who are endorsing me. And these are the people who vote in the district and who have direct connections with people in the district. So my focus is in the district because that's who I'm serving. That's who I will serve. That's whose policies, that's who I'm connected with. When I'm in Congress making policies and deciding what's best, I need to be connected to the people in district. And I will always prioritize the people in the district over interest, over the establishment even, and over big money.
We are talking to Emily Berge. She's a candidate for Congress. You can learn more at bergeforcongress.com or Berge for Congress on Facebook, and Berge is Berge. And in running this race, how much of it is reflective of Derrick Van Orden and or local concerns, or how much of it do you feel like is out of your control, and the whole midterms next year are going to be a referendum on Donald Trump and his presidency?
My kind of life model, and as a counselor, a therapist, this is what I tell people, is to put energy into what you can control. And so that's where how my brain works then, is like, okay, what can I control? And I'm going to put energy into that. And I think we have a lot we can control. That's why I'm running, because I'm standing up for the people in the 3rd Congressional District. I've done that for Eau Claire, the community, as past president of the League of Wisconsin Municipalities. I've stood up for cities, small through large, in DC already. And so I have that experience, and I can stand up and go against Derrick Van Orden, and we can flip the seat. People are fired up right now in the district. There's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. People come up to me with tears in their eyes, and I feel that. And people are ready to work, and they're asking me how they can help. What can we do? And so I think we have a lot of control. This seat is flippable. Derrick Van Orden, even before the last election, he underperformed 5 points in a mock-up, and he still won. So this seat is flippable, and we can do this.
Emily, when you talk about people with tears in their eyes, I can absolutely vouch for that. I hadn't told the story yet this morning of I was running errands yesterday, and how a clerk very tearfully told me about her son in the military who is on furlough And by being on furlough, it means he won't get back pay. A lot of federal employees will get back pay when this is all over. He will not, and can't make the house payments and the daycare bills. And as aging parents, now they're having to support somebody who served in Iraq. That's the amazing part about this, and that somebody like Derrick Van Orden is in support of that. Emily Berge is our guest. She is the president of the Eau Claire City Council. She is a candidate for Congress. And again, her website is bergeforcongress.com, Berge for Congress on Facebook as well. Quick sports note before we go to break. The Wisconsin Badger men's basketball team won their season opener over Campbell University 96-64, and the Milwaukee Bucks got a buzzer beater from Giannis to beat the Indiana Pacers 117-115. From the heart of America's up north, live from Lake Wissota, thanks for making this the place to spend part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. This is normally the spot where you hear Dan Hagan from Newswatch 12, and you will. He's right here. But we're also continuing our conversation with Emily Berge, City Council President in Eau Claire and a candidate for Congress. Dan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. We're going to find out more about what you're following in the Rhinelander area, but first I want you to join me just for our final couple of minutes here with Emily Berge running for Congress. And Emily, like we've said, you're also a City Council President in Eau Claire. And I feel like the last time we talked about City Council matters and city matters in Eau Claire was because a couple of members of the council were being targeted by Derrick Van Orden for having the gall to express an opinion or to state anything about Charlie Kirk. Hopefully that's behind us now, but what are some of the other matters that you're following from a local level?
Yes, that is, I have not heard since so Derrick Van Orden came after the city. I stood up right away, came on your show. I was, protesting in front of City Hall with folks saying that this cannot stand. You cannot come after our city, Derrick Van Orden. And I haven't heard much. Well, he did that bill in Congress. Last I checked, I think it has 3 co-sponsors. So I haven't heard much about that at all, which is good. Of course, then he went after the Mayo Clinic. Also not cool. But with other things that are affecting the city, we're doing district discussions right now. The city manager and I just wrapped that up because I think it's really important that elected officials are available to their constituents. So we've been having meetings at local parks in Eau Claire. We have beautiful parks in Eau Claire. So just hearing from people, it's just kind of this open forum of what are on people's minds. And like we talked about before, actually healthcare came up, SNAP came up, transit, of course, roads always come up at local government. Garbage came up. Our budget, we'll be passing our budget next meeting next week. That came up. So it's just really good always to have that connection with local folks and hear what's on their minds.
Sometimes at the end of a show, we're not exactly sure what the soundbite's going to be. And then sometimes a guest makes our job easy, like Emily did just now. He went after the Mayo Clinic. Also not cool. Words to live by. Let's see. Dan, you want to jump in with a question for Emily? I know you're way up there in the 7th district, but I'm sure you've got some questions for a candidate for Congress.
Well, our viewing area at WJFW does extend down to the 3rd district in Wood County and Portage County. So, Emily, you said earlier that Derrick Van Orden, he underperformed by 5 points. I'm sure that Rebecca Cooke would frame that as she overperformed by 5 points. I know she was one of the more overperforming candidates. So, why do you think you have a better shot at defeating Van Orden than Rebecca Cooke does?
Well, Rebecca Cooke's been running this race for about 5 years. She's tried it twice, and she hasn't been able to do it. And people are just losing faith in that. They're ready for a new candidate, someone with experience like me. I have 8 years of elected experience. I've been elected 3 times. I'm the highest, I'm essentially the mayor. We don't have a mayor, the highest elected official in the largest city in the district. I'm very connected to my local community. And I am connected to the people. That's how we're going to win. This is how we're going to win in first August and then November. It's not going to be, big money in politics. It's not going to be what the establishment wants. It's about the people who live in the district. And it's about them showing up. It's about them volunteering. And I've had hundreds of volunteers sign up for my campaign. I've made over 100 campaign stops in the district. People are saying they've supported Rebecca in the past and no more. They're ready for something different.
There you go. Emily Berge running for Congress, bergeforcongress.com, and at Facebook, Berge for Congress as well. Emily, we always appreciate catching up. Safe travels with all those stops.
Thanks.
Again, you've only outnumbered Derrick Van Orden by like 124 out of your 125, but keep at it and we'll touch base another time soon.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Emily, very much. Hey, Dan, let's go back to the other big story that you're covering up there, the long suffering drought that has had to be endured by a local hunter man. Anything new on that front?
That's right. Yeah, no. Previously, you would say local hunter man with air quotes for our radio listeners, because he never successfully shot anything. That would be me, by the way. I've been on a 5-year drought since I was introduced to hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But that changed yesterday, Pat. It changed in a big way. So I was sitting at my deer stand and I could hear something behind me walking. And I knew it was a deer at this point.
Okay,
After 5 years, you can distinguish deer from squirrels.
I thought maybe a stalker. You are a TV anchor. But okay, go ahead. Yeah.
But it could have been two. But I saw it was a deer. And once I saw it at antlers, I had buck fever, I have to admit. I was kind of raggedly breathing. And I was just kind of waiting for a good time to bring up my crossbow. And he actually started to kind of run away. So I was like, okay, this is my chance. I brought up the crossbow. He stopped 50 yards away. I set the scope on his right behind his front legs, shot, and I think I hit him. I thought I hit him. So I sat there for a little bit. So the idea is if you shoot a buck, you should wait for a little bit because you want to let the deer die instead of just kind of running around. And the adrenaline actually ruins the meat if that's the case. So I wait a little bit. I go to where I shot him and I do see blood. Sorry for the viewers out there and listeners who are a little sensitive to this. But I saw some blood and just followed the blood trail and there he was 100 yards away, dead. So
you got your buck.
I finally got him.
Wow.
So it feels pretty good. He's hanging in my garage right now, and I'm gonna butcher him today. We'll see how that goes.
Well, congratulations. I mean, it's like I was listening to my old colleague Dave Carlson telling stories from the hunt here, and instead I got it from Dan Hagen, who, as we mentioned earlier, People Magazine's sexiest man alive in Rhinelander.
Maybe Rhinelander, probably not.
Dan, always good to catch up with you. Thank you so much. All right. Have a great day. When we come back, we're going to be talking about forest management and carbon capture, and about ways that we can use our own resources right here to help mitigate a changing climate. That and much more ahead. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.